And could we have the American flag, please?
Amber?
Can you guys see it or can you not see it?
We can see the agenda.
Oh, weird. That's weird. Okay, hold on, because it's. Hello. Sorry, it's taking a second. Can you see it now?
No, I don't.
That is so weird. Okay, hold on. Okay. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Would you all join in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we have a roll call. I'm going to start. I have them listed as they are listed on our budget committee. Kay Jones, I am present. Terry Kumlati.
Here.
Melissa Lacrosse. Here. Dewey Robbins. I will say Dewey is absent. Tracy Rowe.
Here.
Stephanie Franklin.
Here.
Steve Brennack.
Steve Baranek is here.
Thank you, Steve. Bud Jones. Bud seems not to be present. Melinda Myers.
Here.
Larry Wells.
Here.
All right. Next thing on our agenda is review and adjust and approve the agenda. If I can have a motion.
Okay, I move that we approve the agenda and the consent items as presented.
Okay, there are no consent items. It's just this agenda.
Okay, the agenda.
Okay, and I need a second.
I second.
Thank you. And at this time, we'll vote again. Terry Kumlati.
Aye.
Melissa Lacrosse. Aye. Tracy Rowe.
Aye.
Stephanie Franklin.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Do you approve the agenda?
Yeah, I said aye.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Melinda Myers.
Aye.
Larry Wells.
Aye.
Motion. Kay Jones. Motion carries. At this time, we need to elect a committee chair, a budget committee chair. So I will take nominations.
I did it last year. I'm fine to do it again.
Okay, so do we have anyone that would like to?
I nominate Steve Baranek.
I second the motion.
Did I get your name right?
Perfect.
Excellent.
Good. All right, so we have a nomination for Steve
Barnick, Bar-
Branick.
Brannick for budget chair for the 2020-2021 budget committee. And so at this time, we'll go through a roll call vote again. Terry Kamladi,
Aye.
Melissa Lacrosse,
Aye.
Tracy Rowe,
Aye.
Stephanie Franklin,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Melinda Myers,
Aye.
Larry Wells,
Yes, aye.
Kay Jones, aye. Motion carries. And at this time, I will turn the meeting over to Steve.
Okay, I'd like to start the budget presentation with Superintendent. Brad, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hey,
It's all yours.
All right,
Hey.
thank you.
Sorry, guys, but I
Yeah.
think we also have to do the committee chair, so which is the vice chair and the recorder as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So Steve, you get to do those.
All right. So do I have a nominee to be the vice chair?
Steve, this is Terry. I nominate Larry Wells.
All right. Are there any other nominations? Seeing no other nominations, Larry Wells is the vice chair. Do we have a nominee for the recorder?
I move to elect Amber Hopkins to be the budget committee recorder for the 2020-21 budget committee.
Are there any other nominees? Seeing no other nominees, Amber Hopkins is going to be the recorder for the budget for the 2021. Actually, it's 2022, isn't it? No, 2021. All right. Next order of business is the,
We need to vote.
oh, let's vote. We'll just go around the room, I guess. We'll start with Kay Jones.
Yes. I vote yes for both.
Terry Kamladi,
I vote yes for both.
Melissa Lacrosse,
Aye for both.
and Dewey Robbins. Is he here?
No.
All right. Sometimes people are on mute. Tracy Rowe.
I vote yes for both.
All right. Stephanie Franklin.
Yes for both.
I vote yes for both. Bud Jones,
Not present.
not here. And then Melinda Myers
I vote yes for both.
and Larry Wells.
Yes for both.
So they're both approved. Larry for the vice chair and Amber Hopkins for the recorder. Now can we go to the superintendent's budget message?
Yes.
Okay. It's all yours, Brad.
All right, thank you, everybody. Just before I get started, if it might be helpful if people hit the mute button on there, which then will take some of the background noise out. And then you just, anytime you need to talk, just hit that button again. And if you can't find it, don't worry about it. The Jefferson School District budget message is intended to provide a summary of the proposed budget and how this budget differs from the prior year. In developing this budget, our focus continues to be on the district's mission. Quote, "We will prepare all students to successfully navigate their transition in life beyond high school by providing qualified, rigorous instruction, providing a safe environment, and fostering a culture of student learning," unquote. As of this publication, this document, we face unprecedented challenges at the local, national, and global levels. Economic factors are more uncertain and complex than possibly ever before. The impacts of the COVID-19 health crisis are only just beginning to be seen, and the long-term effects remain a mystery to all. Oregon's next economic forecast isn't due until late May 2020. Therefore, this budget is built on the official estimate issued by the Oregon Department of Education on February 26, 2020. The 2019 through 21 biennial budget
and state school fund distributions are predicated on a $9 billion state appropriation. This amount has not yet been amended by the legislature as of the date of this document. There are certainly reasons to believe this funding level may change based upon the current economic factors as a result of the health crisis. It is anticipated income tax and property tax collections may be down from current estimates. However, we have no way of determining what the impact may be at this time. The district staff are proposing a budget that allows the district to continue services to students and move toward our continuous improvement plan based on the existing estimates. At the same time, staff are working to establish potential reductions should we face a shortfall in our state school fund grant in the 2020-21 fiscal year. For example, we are looking at a hiring freeze on existing vacancies that are non-essential positions. We are freezing current spending for the remainder of the year and saving on substitute costs, electricity, garbage, supplies. We are looking at how we can put some facilities needs on hold for another year, etc. We will continue to monitor the situation and make adjustments as necessary. Federal funds, particularly Title I and II funds and IDEA funds for students identified with disabilities, will likely be impacted as well. For the proposed budget, we are assuming flat funding in federal funds and will make the necessary adjustments if we don't realize that level of funding. In addition, the long anticipated SIA funding is also, to some extent, at risk due to the economic uncertainties. As a district and community, we have spent the past 5 months engaging stakeholders about how to best use our student investment account dollars to serve our most marginalized youth. It is heartbreaking to know that our SIA plan will likely be postponed for at least the 2020-21 school year due to insufficient corporate activity tax, CAT collections as a result of the economic crisis caused by COVID-19 pandemic. This budget reflects current funding estimates for SIA funding. However, staff has developed potential reduction scenarios in the event cuts occur. Currently, we are holding all hiring in this area until such time as there is more certainty around the level of funding districts will see. Regardless of the many challenges we face, we are committed to developing a budget that will best serve the students of our community. The steps taken will allow us flexibility to move quickly as the economic story in Oregon continues to unfold. Brad Capener, Superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad, very much. At this time, I'd like to move to the budget presentation. And that's back to you, Brad.
Thank you. Before I hand it over to Hattie to go through the budget pages by page, just wanted to remind us on a couple notes that we had some norms that we established and went through before in our training meeting that I would just bring those up again. Be civil and respectful to one another. Listen to understand. Ask questions and respect the questions of others. Confer in good faith and be in the best interest of the school district. In a public meeting, individual names of staff members are not allowed to be discussed. Okay. So with that, the norms going forward, I'm going to hand it over to Hattie.
Thanks, Brad. Amber, how do I present? You wanted me to do it. Sorry, guys. I just want to thank everyone for taking their time and being with us tonight. And I apologize for missing 2 pages in my budget. I thought Amber was coming to help me.
There's a box on the if you put your arrow down to the right corner.
Yep, it says present now.
Yep, hit that. And then there's a screen and you'll click the screen and That, and then
I
you,
did.
you hit accept, and that should do it.
Entire screen.
Yeah, and then bring up your budget and hit that. Just hit.
I didn't bring up my budget.
Well, you'll bring it up after you start presenting. So click on the screen where you see Brad's face.
Mm-hmm.
Now up there, where
This.
right there. Yep, click on that and then.
Okay.
Okay, now bring up your budget, and they'll be seeing what you see on your screen, okay? So they can see your email.
Yeah, I'm just going to go down to
Perfect.
this.
Yep. Just open it.
All right, guys. Page down. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Perfect. I went down too far. There we go. Page down. I don't have a mouse connected to my tablet here, but that's okay. I got it. So we're going to talk about general fund. So the main fund for the district is the general fund with an estimated $10,952,200 or $981,000 for the general fund. Makes up 63% of our total budget for 2020-21. Thanks, Amber. I'm going to plug in a mouse. Anyway, let me just scroll down. So here's the chart of account, or here's the map of our revenue. And you can see that our state school fund is 68% of our funding. And then our current year taxes is 20%. So I'll go ahead and go on to general fund 1111 for the elementary school. Was there any questions on this page? No questions? So the next one is the elementary.
I'm going to say no, Hattie.
Yeah, I'm thinking silence is no questions. So the next page is our elementary extracurricular. Is there any questions?
Hattie, I just have a comment. It looks like we lost one licensed staff and we gained a little more one of a classified. Is that what happened there?
Well, we have an open position at our elementary school that we are choosing not to fill. So you're absolutely right. And then there was some funding changes for some of our staff that were in another fund that we moved into the elementary school fund. It was more feasible to move their hours into the elementary 1111 budget. Okay. So the next one is the elementary extracurricular. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. If you guys, unless you guys have a question, you can stop me. The next one is our middle school program. And
There's
again,
a reduction there. It's staff from 9.13 to 8.75.
Yes, yes. And again, we had a 0.38 FTE that we did not fill. It's an open position for a staff member that's left our school district, and we're choosing not to fill it next year.
I just want to acknowledge Mr. Dewey Robbins has joined us now.
Thank you, Dewey. Okay, I'm going to move on. The next one is our middle school extracurricular. Now we're at the high school, the 1131 function. Our next is high school extracurricular. The next one is 1210 programs for talented and gifted. Our next one is our restricted programs for student with disabilities. After that is 1221 middle school structured learning center, which is historical information because at this time we're paying them either out of 1220 or 1250 function. Moving on to, again, just as historical information, extended school year programs. This isn't historical. I wanted to disclose that I will have to put some funding amounts in here. This is one that I missed, even though I was given instruction. I missed this. I'll put in the same amount from last year, reducing a fund in another area. It'll be within the general fund, and I'll disclose that where I moved it from. It'll be a supply line. Any questions? The next one is 1229 high school life skills. Again, this is one that we cleaned up in our budget 1920. We either moved them into 1220 or 1250. So we don't have this program. Okay, the next one is our 1250 less restrictive program, students with disabilities. Okay.
Hattie, I have a question.
Absolutely.
So I've noticed in the last several that we've done that the PERS have gone down. For example, on page 37, on line 213, you know, that's the small one, but it's gone down from 4,000, which is budgeted, and the proposed is 39. Now, some of the other ones in the past are a lot bigger, and they've gone down a couple $1,000s. Can you explain why that's going down when PERS is going up?
This is our UAL side account, and for whatever reason in the past, the district has expensed like 14.5%.
Mm-hmm.
It's more closer to 13.5%. And so that's what I budgeted on is 13.5%. And that pays back our bond UAL that's under our debt service fund.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on. The next.
Hattie,
Uh-huh.
Hattie, there was a message up in the top. One of our participants is wanting to know if we can make the font bigger on the screen. I don't know if that's possible.
Hang on a second. Hey, Amber, can I make the font bigger?
Try hitting Control plus.
Control. I don't have a plus on my screen here that has my camera. And I can't right click.
Here, honey, I'll do it for you.
Amber's going to do it for me. Yeah, we're on page.
Page 33.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can you guys see that better?
Is that better? Perfect.
That looks a lot better, Hattie.
Good. Good.
And then if they still can't, if you end up needing it bigger.
Mhm. Oh, okay, perfect.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Amber.
No problem.
Okay. Any questions on function 1250? Okay, moving on. Now we're at 1281. This is our public alternative program. This is Shemeketa. Okay. High school alternative education. You're going to notice that I budgeted 13,000 here in this budget because that's where we're paying this from. Last year, I actually budgeted on the next page on 1284, which didn't make sense. I just wanted to point that out to you. So last year, this is where I budgeted, but we didn't pay for it. So I moved it where it should be. The next is English second language. You're in our budget for next year, you're going to see this a little bit differently because we need to go through and make sure that we have our staff that are doing the English second language that they're coded correctly. So Brad and I are going to be working on that in our live data come July 1. Okay. Our next is the attendance services. Now we have student safety. This is for like first aid supplies and such. Counseling services. The next is nurse services. We get this from our local service plan through Willamette JSD, so we don't budget for it. This year, we're going to contract with Willamette JSD for psychology, a psychologist. So we budgeted that for here. A little bit of that will come out of the local service plan, and then the remainder will pay Willamette. The next one is where we used to pay an employee to do psychological testing, but this next coming up year, he's not available. This is our Trillium services. We've moved it to 1250. This was 2190 student support services. This is our curriculum development. It's the other half of our math curriculum that we're paying for in 2021. The next one is 2219. It's historical data. We have Library Media Center. And Brad, can you touch a little bit about our library books?
Sure. We use different funds or different sources for to get some library books. So we use the facility use. So when
Brad, we can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
You froze.
All right. Sorry. Library funds are collected in different ways. And so we have both student teachers who come in at the elementary school, and the district receives funds for that. That goes in to help support the library at the elementary school. When we use have a facilities use at the old middle school gym, or at the whatever school hosts the function, that money also goes to the library fund as well. And then we have some title funding that goes in to support supplemental books as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is multimedia services software. This one is our instructional staff development. This is our tuition reimbursement. The next one is our Board of Education. Executive administration. Office of the Principal. Next page is business support services.
Are you going to mention anywhere along here about this employee pickup, this 6% pickup thing?
Oh, I can. In 1920 or 1819 for the 1920 school year, we negotiated with our licensed staff to not take a step increase or a cost of living increase, and to start picking up their PERS on their 7th paycheck. And one, it made Jefferson competitive with our districts around us, because you can drive 9 miles and 15 miles in any direction and work for a district that picks up PERS. So one, it's to establish to keep our current employees, as well as to get employees interested in our school district. So that was, and it benefited our employees. If you got a traditional COLA and step increase, a good percent of that goes to your taxes. And the bring home is by far less than us picking up that benefit of our PERS. And so we pick up the benefit for our licensed staff. We pick up the PERS 6% pickup for our licensed staff.
A quick note to that add as well, Hattie, is when we were in a mode of getting SIA funds, and that's on hold now, but when we were in that process, we were engaged in trying to recruit and look at new teaching staff, and it's very competitive because everybody's looking for the same people. So we will be getting the SIA funding down the road, and when that happens, we're going to be just as competitive as our neighbors, and more so, I think. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brad. Is there any other questions on that? Okay. Fiscal services. Risk management. This is our employee assistance program that our school district pays on behalf of our employees. Operation and maintenance of plant services. This is our insurance that we have to carry as a school district.
Is that big jump because we have a new middle school instead of an old one?
No, our rates increased 17% this year.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. We are just absolutely cringing over this. And yeah, it's phenomenal.
Patty, this
Yes.
is Terry. So did they go up because we became a higher risk, or it went over the average of the whole?
It's across the board.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not just Jefferson School District. It's across the board. Everyone that uses PACE is paying that higher increase.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. The next one is care and upkeep of building services. This is care and upkeep of ground services. And this one is maintenance. The next one is our security services. This is our security alarm system. The next one is our student transportation services, which this is historical data. We pay for our first student for the transportation out of 2552. And the next one is our special ed transportation.
I have a question.
Sure.
With respects to transportation services, our current situation regarding reduced busing routes contract that we have with busing, are we going to be realizing any return because of the ability to non-perform because of school closure? Are we going to realize any savings that's returned into the budget?
We're not paying the fuel costs that we normally would. Brad is looking at the contract as we speak. He's monitoring the bills. There is a monthly fee that we pay for, but that keeps the bus drivers intact. And so he's been looking into that. We are saving a little bit, of course, with the fuel cost. I mean, the fuel cost is down, and we're not running the buses as much as if we were in school. So Brad is working on that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, this is our telephone, our postage, and our consumable supplies materials. Our next one is printing, publishing, duplicating services. This is historical data. This one is 2662, systems and analyst services. Next one is programming services. This is our student information system that we get from Lynn Benton Lincoln ESD.
Hattie, this is
Yes.
Terry again. Why did that go up 10,000?
Because we had budgeted, there's some software that we want to look into purchasing at $7,000, but the state of our district right now, that's going to be one thing that we look at. Do we absolutely have to have it? So I know it goes with the grading software. It goes with all the stuff that our principals and our teachers use. So we had to up that budget just in case we have to pay for that service. But that may be one that we look at. Can we hold off a year? So we may not spend the $7,000 extra that I budgeted in there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we may go on a need versus a want. You know, if we don't need it and we just want it, then Brad will say no, right?
No.
No, right. Okay, the next one is our long-term debt. This is one of our debts that we pay for in our general fund. The next one is our transfer.
Hattie?
Yes.
Hattie, this is Tracy. When it comes to our long-term debt, do we have any debt that is near completion on paying off that we're going to be able to capitalize on potentially using those funds to pay off any other extenuating debt that we have at this point in time?
Yes, that one that you just looked at will be paid off in 2022.
Okay.
And then we've got another one that's our Cool School loan that'll be paid off in 2029.
Okay. Pardon me for using Dave Ramsey, but I don't know if it's the district's habit to take, once we pay off a specific debt, I don't know that it's the district's habit to take that money that we've cleared on one debt and help to apply it to another debt so that we can steamroll our debt off of our books. Just curious, Addie.
You know, that's something that Brad and I'll have to look into because, you know, it does take up that $9,000 in the general fund that we won't have to pay that anymore. But we'll just have to look at where our district is at that time. Could we utilize it somewhere else versus paying down in debt? I mean, we will be definitely looking at that because, you know, like I've said before, we do have a little bit of debt.
Hattie, is that not? Oh, go ahead.
You're welcome.
No, I just said thank you, Terry.
Okay. Hattie, is that for the property on the south side of the school?
No, yeah, that is at the, do you remember when the school district went out for a loan to purchase that building that is now the parking lot of the elementary school?
Yes.
That's what that loan is.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the property on the south side of the school that we bought several years ago, is that paid off?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So here's your transfer funds. So it's transferred out of the general fund into a few other funds, debt service fund, athletics, food service. We put $100,000 in our contingency plan. And then we also have $200,000 in an unappropriated ending fund balance. So this equates to about, since we have $10 million in revenue, this equates to about 3% of our general fund in an whether it be appropriated or unappropriated contingency fund. Okay. So this is how the general fund, it's split by object. So salaries and wages, $4,861,000. 200 object is employee benefits, 3.4 million. Purchase services is 300, 1.6 million. Supplies and materials, 287,000. Capital outlay is 20,000. Fund 600, other objects is 170,000. Object 700 transfers, 278,000. And then plan reserve is 300,000.
Yeah, I have a question. Where do the sports programs show up in this budget?
It's going to be under the special revenue funds under a 200 fund.
Okay.
Yep, and we're going to get there. Yep.
Okay.
We're going to go through each one of them. So the next is our special revenue fund. Anything that has a 200 fund is in our special revenue. So the first one we're going to, yeah.
This is Stephanie. Back on that object spreadsheet, I was just going to note we should probably update the header on the that you were just reading off of to say 2021, right?
You've caught a lot of my, I'm going to send my proposal to you and I'm going to say, can you critique this so I have second eyes?
I draft financial statements for a living. So.
Yay. Well, when you look at something so long, you don't see the things that other people see right away.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay. All right, moving on to special revenue. So this is moving science ed forward. We don't have this grant anymore. So this is historical data. I budgeted for it last year because I was pretty new and I wasn't sure if we had it or didn't. We don't have this. Okay. So there's no expenditures for it. So the top page is going to be your, these are your revenue. And the next page will be the expenditures. So this one is ORTI. And we have expenditures for it.
Hattie, what does that stand for? ORTI.
Response to intervention.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brad. All right.
I was gonna say, Hattie, your voice changed.
You know what? It can change anytime when it has the answer because I didn't have the answer for that. Thanks, Brad. All right. The next one is Willamette Promise. Our expenditures for Willamette Promise. It's mainly in staff. This is our Title I. This is historical data because I'm not going to go back and forth between 206 and 226. I've just chosen to stay with 226 as my fund. So there is no expenditures for this one. The next one is SLP Willamette SD. This is just because there's historical data for revenue. There is no historical data for expenditures. So I don't have anything for expenditures to show you. The next one is formative assessment. Title 2A. Excuse me. I need a drink of water. I should clarify, of water. Okay. Our expenditure for Title II. We don't have this grant. I didn't budget for it this year. Oh, I got a tickle in my throat, you guys. I'm sorry.
Do you need to take a quick break?
I'm good. I just need to drink a little water.
Okay.
Does anyone else need to take a quick break? We can take a break. Are we good?
We're good.
No, I'd like to take at least a 4-minute break.
Okay.
Allow people to use the restroom and so on, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know why you're not able to get this up on the screen? You don't have a camera to pick stuff up from the truth. So why can't we pick it up down there? They're showing it. I understand that, but I was wondering why, if we pick up a picture from the truth, but why we weren't picking this up. I don't know what the camera here would do for picking it up down. Yeah, I followed here in the book. It's fine. She's just going through the same pages. I look at them, so I just asked you the question. Taking a short break.
Hattie, I have a question. What is systems analysis services?
That is our technology department.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just had never heard it called that.
Yeah, well, it just depends on what district you're at for the titles they use for the function. I'm ready to begin when everyone else is ready.
I'm following it here in my book. What page now are we on? I've been doing really well just to right now. I kind of got lost because I don't have it on the screen.
You are on page 133.
Yeah, that's where I got behind. I'm 126. So.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. And for the one that
I'm back.
Are we
here
all
we go. I wasn't turning quite fast enough.
Oh, sorry. Are we ready to begin?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
back? Okay, I'm going to begin. So this is our miscellaneous grant for the revenue portion of it. We don't have it, so there's no expenditures as well. The next one is MWAC. That's our revenue, and here's our expense. Yeah.
Hattie, it's Tracy. These particular, just for the sake of the budget committee, recording and all that stuff, we don't have it anymore, and it's moving out. Can you please explain what happens to these as they become irrelevant?
Sure. According to budget law, we have to have the actuals for the past 2 years, our previous budget for the previous year, our previous FTE budget, and then our current proposed budget, and then our proposed FTE. So it's all according to the Oregon budget law. So as soon as there is no information for any actuals that happened for the previous 2 years, then we won't have those grants won't print in our budget document anymore. Is that what
Thanks,
you were
Andy.
asking?
Yep, that's what I was after. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. The state of Oregon has a certain way that our budget has to be outlined. And so this is the way that most school districts do it. Okay, and moving on. This was our expenditures for MWAC. So now we're going to go on to 214 IDEA SPR&I. It's a grant that we get to support our kids. And here's the expenditures for that. Our next one is IDEA Part B. That's our revenue. And here's our expenditures. The health and wellness grant, we don't get that anymore. So we just have historical data. So you can see we haven't spent anything out of there in 1819. So then we have Title III. Now I'm putting a budget in there for Title III. This year we're actually using a consortium for our Title III program. So this is just in case we do get it. We want to be able to have the spending authority to spend it. But if we don't get it, obviously we don't spend it. Next one is Title IV. The next one is our CTE career pathways. Last year I budgeted 20,000, which the last couple of years we've only received 7,000. So I wanted to be more reflective of what we did receive in that grant fund.
Hattie?
Yep.
This is Tracy again. I know with respects to SSI and the Student Success Act, one of the focuses that exists within that path is development of CTE.
Mm-hmm.
Funding is uncertain, and when it comes to this particular funding line item, I was a little bit distraught to see the level of funding that we have brought into it for this year to advance our CTE. Can you explain to me the reason behind that?
Yeah, we budgeted 20,000 last year. We received 7,000. So we actually couldn't spend the 20,000 we budgeted. We could only spend what we received, because you have to put in claims every time that you spend the money. You put in claims to ODE to get a refund. And so I wanted to go more in line with what we did receive for the past 2 years, just because I know this is more of the standard. It's not the 20,000 or the even 12,000 that we've gotten in the past. It went way down.
Well,
Tracy, we also get the Measure 98 funds, and so that's where the majority of our CTE funding is. And then anything we get for SIA will augment that. So we're still looking good.
Okay, all right. That's where I was lost in it all. So
sure,
I appreciate the clarification.
The next ones are Avid. And after that, this is where our Title I is. It's Fund 226. This is the one that used to be 206 every other year. They changed it. I'm sticking with 226. So we'll always be able to see our historical data. Uniforms or textbooks. This one is our E-rate. And I talked with our technology director, and he stated that E-rate is in every other year. And so since we've got a lot of our E-rate this year, we won't be eligible for next year, but I wanted to put it in there just in case we were. So it's better to be cautious. We don't spend it if we don't get it.
Is the big ideas math in the another place in the budget? Is that where the curriculum for the math was? It's not in the text? Okay.
No, it's in the curriculum development is where I budgeted from.
All right.
Kinder Ready, we don't have that anymore. Again, I budgeted 1920 for it, but we didn't spend anything in 1819. We didn't spend anything in 1920, so I did not budget for it in 2021.
Addie, can you do me a favor? Just periodically give the page number where you're at, just so everybody, make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, I'm on page 160 now. Outdoor school program. This one has changed quite a bit because now we get our funding. It is paid to OSU, so OSU is the one that manages outdoor school now. And so we get reimbursed for the dollars.
Hattie,
Yes.
with respect to the outdoor school program, actual 17-18, I don't know if we were heading up to a different area and it was more expensive, but there's a heck of a drop in funding for this. Is the college picking up some of that? Are we getting grants for it?
Actually, we get reimbursed, so we have to fill out reports. We have to apply for it to OSU. So what happens is ODE gives the money to OSU to manage it, and then after we've paid the bill for the camp, all of these right here are the salaries. We pay the stipends to our employees that get to go to outdoor school. And then what we do is we get a reimbursement from OSU. So we have to, we bill them for the amount that we've paid for outdoor school, and then they reimburse us.
Okay.
I have a question about outdoor school.
Yeah.
All the kids, the sixth graders didn't get to go this year because
No.
of the coronavirus. Are we going to maybe have something next year where we have the seventh graders and the sixth graders go? Is that something that we need to talk about?
I personally haven't heard anything. I don't know if Brad has talked to our principal at the middle school, if that's an option for next year. I haven't heard anything of that being an option, but that'd be great for our seventh graders.
At this point, it's not, and that doesn't mean it won't. It's just, I think, probably too early, premature to know. At this point, they are not considering the seventh graders, but that doesn't mean that won't change, Steve.
Just a thought. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on Fund 234. Measure $98, which is our high school success grant. They changed the name after the first year to be high school success. This is our CTE.
Brad, is this what you were talking about to me when I talked about the CTE?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
This is our early retirement health insurance fund. This will sunset after our very last retiree who was eligible to take the early retirement health insurance plan. This will sunset once that last person is paid. So probably in the next 5 years, this will go away. This is our food service child nutrition program.
Brad?
Yeah.
I have a question with regards to the child nutrition program. Simple question. Are we catching up? How close are we in being out of the red on that?
It's a yes and no answer. Yes, that we've been doing a lot of cost savings, of changing how we do things in order to save, and also how we can do some additional revenue. So Lisa's been doing a wonderful job in trying to reduce and improve. But we are also now where our supper program is over budget, since we're not running one, but we're still operating staff, so that revenue continues to go over expenses. So we're still working on it. We're still aware of it and trying to see how we can improve it, and always looking for ideas to bring in revenue. And I think we've got the right team in place to do that. But we still are going to be showing some red.
This is Melissa. I have a question about the supper program. I heard that there were quite a few changes with how the kids were filtering through supper, and that dropped our numbers significantly. And I was just concerned with the poverty rate in Jefferson being so high, and the numbers of kids on free and reduced lunches, and that our supper program had previously not only paid for itself, but also been a huge boost to our food services budget, that now that it's kind of causing some difficulties, that's really concerning to me, and that so many of our kids in our community experience food insecurity, and that's really one of the last possible meals that they might have before they head home when they are in school, that really needs to be supported and encouraged, and maybe go back to how it used to be, where all the kids are provided that opportunity versus just a few filtered through right now.
Yeah, so appreciate the comments. We actually had an audit from ODE this year showing that our supper program was not fully in compliance, and needed to change, or we would be fined. And so we've been working with them and trying to understand what that looks like. We're going to be relooking at the supper program to see how we can both change it to meet the expectations of the Oregon Department of Education, but also to see how we can better serve students. And so we'll be working on that this summer to see how we can enhance it. I agree with you and share, and I know that's a value for everybody here, is to feed our children and to provide a meal for as many kids that need them. So the value's there. It's just a matter of organizing it and putting it in a way that makes sense. Thanks for the question.
All right. On to the next one. This one is historical data. We basically changed our summer lunch program to reflect in our food service program under the 3195 function. So this is just historical data.
Patty,
Yes,
did you say the 3195 program?
it's a function. It's in the food service line. See it right here, the 3195 function for the summer lunch program. That's where we moved it. So the next fund is just historical data. We didn't need a second fund for food service.
Okay, thank you, Hattie.
You bet. You bet. These are all great questions, you guys. We really appreciate them. And then again, here's the summer lunch program with the Fund 251. We went ahead and just moved it to the function, the different function. So this is historical data. The next one, and I want to sincerely apologize. I take my budget document very, very seriously. These are the 2 pages I left out of your document. And I emailed them to you the minute I found them missing out of my printed document. So this is the Student Success Act monies. It's Fund 252. We created it. We are budgeting like we're going to get it 100%. And as Brad said before, we are holding off on hiring because we don't know if we're going to get a little bit, a lot of it, most of it. We're really unsure. But to have the spending authority, we had to have it in our budget. Okay. So here's the expenditure that goes with that.
What page are we on, please?
This is the pages I emailed you yesterday. So hopefully you printed those.
Oh, okay.
But on our screen, it's page 174 and 175.
Okay, there we go.
And then here's the rest of those expenditures. In a perfect world, this would have been amazing. This will be amazing for our districts once we get there. The next one is our athletics. The co-curricular fund 255 is our athletics. So this is the one that you asked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on that page. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. And then these are our ASB funds, our student body accounts. This is for the elementary school. The next one's for our middle school.
Hattie?
Yes?
It's Tracy here. With regards to school athletics, we have a very involved booster club who donates, who fundraises and does just a paramount job of helping with the athletic program. Which function page? Where is the historical data on that with regards to what we've been able to provide?
The booster club support to our school, it's based on their own budget. So,
but they transfer funds to the school district, and that has to be accounted for, correct?
they do not transfer funds to the school district. They do not pay our school district.
Okay, so
Let me take that back. We pay some of our coaches from the booster club. We pay them, and then I invoice the booster club, and they reimburse us that. So you're absolutely right. So let me get back up there to 255. No, Tracy, you're absolutely right on that.
Yeah.
It would go into miscellaneous income to account for what we pay some of our coaches out of these line items. So I think it's like $2,000 is what they give us plus the associated payroll cost.
Yeah, and they also provide funding for scholarships for the athletic participation process as well. So I don't know if that's a line item that is in our budget or not. And I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just trying to make sure that we're accounting appropriately with what the Boosters Club does for our school district.
Oh, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, but the fees would go into the ASB, the high school ASB for athletics. So let's get down there. So this one is the elementary school. This one is the middle school. And then this one is the high school. So the concessions is run out of the high school ASB, club fundraising, other curricular activities. So a lot of the revenue for our student activities for the athletics will go through the ASB fund.
Okay.
Okay. So this
All
is
right. So we're on board to make sure that they're receiving their documentation as a nonprofit organization, and we're making sure that we're protecting them as well. Correct, with proper receipts, things of that sort.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I invoice for our athletic coaches that the booster pays for, and then they reimburse our school district those funds. And then with the student body, they receive receipts when that money comes in to our student body side. So the buildings take care of that themselves, and then they send the deposit to us of where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Thank you.
With the deposits. So
I'm noticing that there's 3 messages up in the top of my screen also. I don't know. I haven't clicked on them.
okay, we're going to have Amber do that at the very end.
Okay.
Okay. And so here's the scholarship fund for our students.
Sorry, guys, just wanted to mention that those comments are just from board members and a principal, but I will definitely read them at the end when we're done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question here, back here on Fund 255. It shows under resources for this is high school extracurricular, 99,500. Where does that money come from? It doesn't show over here on the left. It just has a 5,000
there. 90,000 of that comes from our general fund. That's one of our transfer amounts that we transfer to support that program. And then $353,500 comes from concessions, and $6,000 comes from gate fees through the ASB. So so we transfer it from the ASB and from the concessions out of the student body side, and it's transferred into the 255 fund. So it all supports that program.
Hattie, I'd like to expand upon that. When it comes to the gate admission fees, going back there, admissions, we generally have a staff member collecting fees, and sometimes we even have students. I noticed that there's no proposed FTE. There's nothing there. Is that on a voluntary basis, or is it in another line item as far as FTE in performing that particular function in collecting the fees? Curious.
That would be extra duty that we would pay our employees if they do the gate. Then what they do is turn in a timesheet to us, and then we pay that with their normal payroll out of here.
Thanks,
yeah, additional salaries right here, and there is no FTE associated to our athletics. Our FTEs.
Okay, thank you, Heather.
All our contracted staff. You're welcome.
How do you have a question about the fund item 235, that Measure 98? How's that amount that we get budgeted, that grant, how's that determined? Is someone applying for that? Do we just get it because of the size of our district?
We get it based on our ADMW.
Okay.
So there's a pot of money and they take the they figure out how much it is per ADMW and then they allot us that money. And we get reports of what each school district is granted for that year.
Okay, what page are we on, Hattie?
We're going back down to the ASB for the high school. So we are on page 184. Brad, are you looking in your book?
Yep.
You're on page, we're going to Fund 274, which is our scholarship fund. That's 182, page 182.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's our scholarship fund, 274. Our expenses for that fund. And we were notified that the federal government was going to award school districts money from the CARES Act. And this is the amount of money that Jefferson School District was going to be awarded. And it's based on our Title I allocation. We had to budget for it. Now, we don't know when this money's coming to us. We don't know if this money's coming to us. We don't know if things could be changing on an hourly basis like they have been in the last 6 weeks. So we put it in the budget. If we get it, then we have spending authority. If we don't get it, we don't spend it. But this could help us next year if we receive less funding. And we don't know what we can spend this money on. So there's a lot of dynamics to these funds that we just aren't aware of right now. We just had to put it in our budget. Okay. So a lot of school districts that I have worked with in the past have put a grant pool together in case we got extra money. This has been in our budget for the last 3 years. And as you can see, we haven't spent it because we haven't received any grants that we didn't already plan for. So I've kept it in the budget just in case a miracle happens and we get $400,000 more. Okay. All right, now we're on to our debt service fund. This is where we pay our loans back, our PERS UAL. So the first one is our debt service. So this one is our Cool School loan. These are the heaters that were installed in the old middle school. And it's a transfer. It's part of our transfer fund, the $5,200 in our general fund. And these are the loan payments on it. The next one is our PERS debt service. And then our payment allocation. The next one is our general obligation bond. And our payments that go with that. And the last one is our demo loan. And our payment for that. So that's our debt. Next is capital improvement funds. The next one is beginning fund balance. This rolled year after year. This is always good to have in our capital projects fund. It's when we're improving our school district and how we can anticipate to spend it. Our next one is our General obligation bond, as you can see, we have spent down a lot of that money. We started off with quite a bit of money, and we're spending it down. Right now we have 600,000 sitting in the bank right now, or excuse, yeah, 600,000. These are our expenditures for it. The next one is historical data in regards to a seismic grant that we got in 17-18. Here's the historical data for the expenditures. Then we have our seismic grant, JMS1, which was historical data. We don't have any current seismic grants going on right now. The next one is our elementary school seismic grant. We just finished that one up this year. And these are our TAP grants that we get. It's a facilities plan. It's a seismic one. And Brad, what's the third one?
Facility seismic and facilities.
Yeah, there's a facilities assessment, there's a seismic, and then there's a third one. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Can't either.
Huh.
Sorry, can't remember either.
Me either. So this is because we don't know if we'll get to these because of the circumstances that we're in. I'm putting it in our budget to make sure that it gets used up. And Brad is working with companies to make sure that we get these assessments done and that we can draw down these funds. This one you'll be happy to see. This is our construction excise tax. We have now implemented with Lynn County and with Marion County that for every building anyone builds in these counties, there's an excise tax that they have to pay with the permit process. So this is to only be used to update our facilities. Again, if we don't receive, we only spend the money that they deposit in our bank. So if we get $40,000, then it's planned to be spent. But we have to have the spending authority, and we're estimating that we potentially could get $90,000 next year. So this is really good for our school district. This is things that we can address with our buildings. And the last is the old middle school improvement, the $600,000 loan that we went out for. This is receiving the loan so we can spend those proceeds out of the capital improvement fund. Okay. And this is the total of our budget for our proposed budget for 2021 is $17,342,422. And our proposed expenditures is the same amount, and our FTE is 108.37. Keeping in mind, this is all of our funds. This is 100, our 200 funds. We don't have FTE in our 300 or 400 funds, but keep in mind that for our Student Success Act, there's 7 point some odd FTE that we may not be able to hire if we don't get the total allocation. So that is our budget presentation. Amber, can you take back the controls?
Yeah, sorry, just 1 second.
Thank you.
You need to turn off your presenting, Hattie. So go to the bottom corner there and then hit stop presenting.
I don't see it.
It'll come up like if you hover over the bottom with your mouse on the bottom right corner.
I'm looking and it's not doing it.
Okay, just 1 second. I'll come help.
Sorry, guys. I'm not technical savvy.
No worries. No worries.
You're really good with numbers, though.
I can do a paycheck. I can do a budget. I can do an audit, but you give me technology.
Hattie, this is Terry. I just want to thank you for the presentation that you gave.
You're welcome. You know, Brad, our motto, mine and Brad, all of our motto is to be transparent because these are public funds. And we just have to do our due diligence on the money to run the school district in the best that we can.
I noticed line, the 7th item on the agenda is budget hearing. Does anyone want to talk about, have any comments about a budget hearing?
Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
This is the part to hear any public comments. So Amber, is there any public comment?
So I did not receive any emails or messages or any sort of thing like that via the community. And the chats that came up in regards to on the side here. And then I just wanted to let everyone know that I did check my junk email and that sort of thing, just to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And then the chats that were coming up were just in regards to either feedback we were getting and people needing to mute and having a break. And then Kathy wanted to let Hattie know she was frozen. Melissa was talking about the booster money goes to district for scholarships and other things. And then Kathy commented hardship monies are given to ASB hardship. And then Melissa commented that previously it was in the same area where PTC dollars were kept. And that was the last comment that we got in the chat. And then via the stream, I haven't gotten any comments that way, and no one's inside of our meeting that's made any other comments.
And I just want to add to that too. I have looked in my junk email and I've watched my emails to have any comments. We did advertise in the Albany Democrat Herald. We put our budget committee meeting on Facebook, as well as having it on our website with emails to come to me. And I've been monitoring it to bring any comments or questions to our meeting tonight. So I didn't receive anything as well.
So this meeting cannot be the budget hearing. After the budget committee approves, there's a notice that goes out, and then the hearing follows this meeting. That's what's stated in the local budget manual and the budget law. And that's what I brought up at the last meeting.
And that would go ahead.
This is Kay. I believe that we will have a hearing as part of our regular monthly board meeting on June 8th.
Excellent.
But we can go ahead.
That's all I would like.
With approving.
And public can comment at this portion if you want that, but I just wanted to make it clear that the budget hearing, that formal piece, does need to be separate and noticed distinct from this meeting with a certain amount of time that's specified with different noticing. So thank you.
I would like to.
You're on mute. Sorry, Hattie, you were mute.
Thank you. Yeah. When we do the hearing, at our budget meeting, that's when I have to put the notice in the newspaper with our ED50 with the numbers that matches our budget. So yes, you're absolutely right. That budget hearing is at one of our board meetings to adopt the budget.
Tonight, we just adopt the proposed budget so that it can go to the board meeting and it can be approved at the board meeting.
I would like to make a motion. I move to approve the Jefferson School District 14J Budget Committee approve the 2020-2021 fiscal year proposed budget and the tax rate of 4.8468 per thousand of assessed value for the operating purposes in the general fund.
I'll second that. This is Terry.
Steve, it's your turn.
All right, well, let's take a vote on the approval of the Jefferson School District 2020-2021 budget at $4.8468 per thousand. And we'll do a roll call vote. Kay Jones?
Steve?
Yes?
Steve, you have to ask if there's any
Discussion.
comments, any discussion.
Do we have any discussion on the proposal? Seeing no discussion, we'll go to the vote. Kay Jones, your vote?
Aye.
Terry Kamlati?
Aye.
Melissa Lacrosse?
Nay.
Dewey Robbins?
Aye.
Tracy Rowe?
Aye.
Stephanie Franklin?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Bud Jones is not here. Melinda Myers?
Aye.
And Larry Wells?
Aye.
So the ayes have it. And I would add that on the proposed calendar, it says that this proposal will be published June 1st and that the hearing will be June 8th. So, so the motion is passed as approved as stated. So at this time, I'd like to turn it back over to Kay.
I'd like to thank everyone for their participation in our budget hearing or in our budget committee meeting. And at this time, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 8:10. Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Hattie.
Thank you.
Good job, Hattie.
Yep,
Thank
good
you.
job.
Good job,
you.
Hattie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hattie, for
Thank you.
answering my questions today.
Absolutely. Anytime. I'm a phone call away.
I can't. Here, let me do an air one.